Good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt broadcast here on YouTube, Facebook, and indeed on X or Twitter. We're going to talk about Liverpool later in the show. So if you've got views on Liverpool, about the way they announced the ethnicity of the person, the colour, etc., I want to hear those views. Also, we're going to be talking about Nigel Farage. He's made a barnstorming speech today. He's really taken the momentum. He's trapped them. They've all gone on holiday. He had a holiday last week. They were busy slagging him off, but today he seized the initiative. He stepped in whilst Parliament's asleep, and he's speaking directly to the people the elites forget. You, the so-called Red Wall, the working class, or working people, as Keir Starmer would call it, the pensioners worried about their heating bills, their parents crushed by the two-child benefit cap. He's going after Labour voters now, and I reckon he'll succeed. We talked about him last week, but I'm absolutely convinced now he will be the next Prime Minister. And here's my second prediction. It'll happen sooner than 4 years. Starmer has lost the will to fight. He's completely lost it. He's got no ideas, we know that, but he's completely lost it. Last week he was trying to be Nigel Farage light. This week he'll be copying somebody else. It's all over for Starmer, and therefore it's all over for Labour, because, quite simply, they haven't got anyone with any talent. So whilst Keir Starmer dithers and U-turns from left to right and back again, Nigel Farage and Reform UK is offering clear, albeit controversial, popular positions. And I'm going to go through these with you tonight and see whether you agree with me that there's only one person to vote for now, and it's Nigel Farage. He's not perfect, but by God, he's better than these establishment goons. Are you with me or against me? Free speech was up on trial again this weekend. Good to see Tommy Robinson's out, but I notice Lucy is still in prison. Starmer is turning into a dictator because he's got no popularity. There's a poll out today with the Daily Mirror, which is completely opposite to every other poll, and they're trying to make out that he's popular. He's about as popular as a you-know-what in a spacesuit. So today, Farage outlined several key policies. He's going to scrap net zero, the targets for that completely. Tick, that's highly popular. He's going to get rid of all the asylum hotels. Tick, but it'll be difficult unless you're willing to be as strong as I am, which says put them in tents. Let's see what he does when he gets into power. Here's a Labour policy. He's going to lift the two-child cap in terms of benefits. So if you have more than two children, you'll still get some benefits for the third and fourth. Some people are against this because they feel that somehow this will incentivize new entrants to have more children. But I'm sure he can put something into it to stop that happening. Dismantle the DEI madness, the diversity madness. I put a little tweet up over the weekend. A bloke I used to work with at BBC London, Tim Samuels, is doing a podcast. I've forgotten the name of it now, but you've got to watch it. And it's all about how diversity, which we all want, and we want equal rights for everyone. I'm a father of two daughters. I want them to be able to get on. But it talks about how men have basically now been marginalised, and it's men who are getting prejudiced against. And wait for it, guess what type of men mainly? White, middle-aged men. And I'm testament to that. I'm bloody brilliant at talk radio, but no one will give me a gig. If I was black, I'd have a job tomorrow, and you know I would. If I was a woman, I'd probably get a job tomorrow. And it's about time this prejudice and against older people is got rid of. Are you with me or against me? And then, on day one of a Nigel Farage government, he's going to restore the winter fuel payments. All of those things you would tick and say, that's a good idea. So is Farage going to be the next Prime Minister? I say yes, because I say Keir Starmer is devoid of ideas and he's run out of power and energy. He's surrounded by idiots, Eamon Holmes this morning had Bridget Phillipson on, who's the education secretary. So he asked her a question about, have you learned lessons from Southport? Because you gave out not the name, but the age, the sex, and the colour and the ethnicity of the Liverpool accused. And she said, oh, I'm not going to talk about it. She went into all this bullshit about why she couldn't talk about it because it's a live case and it's this and it's that. It was as if she was a Dalek and she was programmed, or an action man. You know, when you pull out the rope at the back, she only had 3 or 4 stock expressions. And then she even got in, I was playing bingo with it, she even got in the deficit towards the end, the mythical deficit, the £24 billion black hole. What is the point of being a minister of state if you haven't got a brain? I can't see it. Perhaps you could explain to me. And that she was trying to be on message with Sir Keir Starmer. But you can see also now they're all pushing for position. Angela Rayner at the weekend, she wants to be the Prime Minister. They are fighting like rats in a sack. They're devoid of ideas. They're devoid of morality. That's the biggest one. They are lying constantly to us, lying constantly. So yesterday, when they did say, and I applaud the police, at last, Merseyside police, they actually said, you know, it's a white male, 53, blah, blah, blah. But then people said, and I think it's a fair thing to point out, what would have happened if it was a black or an Arabian or slightly swarthy looking guy? Would they have told us that then? And that's what's happened. Because of your lies, Sir Keir Starmer, and they are lies, over Southport, no one believes a word you bloody say. You could tell me it was a bright sunny day and I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe you. You could tell me I was wonderful and I probably would believe you. No, but you understand where I'm coming from. He has lost the country. The whole lot of them have. They've got to go. But Farage today has seized the initiative and I think he could be the next Prime Minister. So later in the show, or as your comments come in, we're going to talk about Liverpool. Do you believe we're going to know now who these people were or this person was? Do you think now we're going to have proper one-tier law? Because that's all I want. I don't want to be superior to somebody with a different colour skin to me. I want us all to be equal. Equal. And as I say, this thing with Tim Samuels, look it up on YouTube. Tim Samuels, it's White Men Don't Matter or something like that it's called. I'll find out, but I'll tell you tomorrow. You've got to watch it. It's my story in a way. It's fascinating about the way that white older men have been completely marginalized in new thinking. So inclusivity and diversity is there for black people, gay people, trans people, women, homosexuals, etc., all of which I agree with, but not for white old blokes. That is outrageous. And I don't want that to disappear today, the Liverpool story, amongst this fascinating and exciting news that Farage has become a bit of a socialist with some of his ideas, but he's going for the mass audience. He's not just pushing populism, is he? He's dominating the agenda. And Starmer, look at him. He's terrified. You can see it. All he can do now is reduce to copying reforms, talking points whilst hoping that no one notices. And they keep going on about, oh, he hasn't costed it. He hasn't costed it. When we need budgetary lessons, either from Starmer and Labour, or indeed the Conservatives who couldn't add up, I think they've all been using Diane Abbott's abacus, then we'll ask. Until then, shut up. What we're interested in with the election at least a few months away, maybe years, but I think it's going to come quick. We want big ideas. Who did that song? What's the big idea? That one. We need big ideas. Politics used to be full of big ideas. Jeremy Corbyn, Margaret Thatcher, they had big ideas, whether you agreed with them or not. But this lot, they're like middle managers at Asda or Lidl. They've got no concept, no big brainwave, no political spine. mainly because they've all been brought up with this diversity thing where everyone's equal and don't push yourself too hard. I find it all incredible that diversity has turned into an attack on white people, white men in particular. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Were you pleased that Liverpool mentioned the fact he was a white guy, or are you cynical about it? Because I could fully understand it. And then just before we come now to all your comments, and it's going crazy, by the way, and if you're enjoying the show already, start pushing the like button for me. You know it makes sense. The other thing that Farage did today is this. This quote is absolutely brilliant. Let me read it to you. Let's take it to the red wall. Let's have a live debate in a working men's club, an ex-colliery club, he reckons. Let the people ask the questions. He's directly challenged Starmer to go into a working men's club in the so-called red wall areas and debate the topics of the day. You know, where would start? Let's go through them again. Scrapping net zero, ending asylum hotels, lifting the 2-child cap, dismantle the DEI madness, that's diversity bullshit, restore the winter fuel allowance. That's the agenda that Nigel Farage wants to discuss with Keir Starmer. Here's Keir Starmer's response. Scrap net zero, end asylum hotels, lift the 2-child. You understand where I'm coming from? He won't have an answer to it. So he's not going to accept the invitation, is he? Even though ages ago he challenged Farage to a debate. And we won't have it on the BBC if we do have it, because they're so institutionally biased. GB News should do it. Simple as that. That's the easiest way of doing it. I'm available if anybody wants me. Okay. So Farage, let's talk about it. Is he going to be the next Prime Minister? Can he wake us up from this woke world that we're all inhabiting? I want your views. So he's dropped the big bombshell. Let's debate it in a working men's club. Now, you know Starmer won't show up. He can't show up because he's scared. He's a coward. And if the polls now are right, he might just be losing the country. He has lost the bloody country. Sometimes I'll write this stuff in the afternoon and I think, that's a bit too moderate. Gaunty, people want you to just tell it as it is. Right, I'm coming to your comments now. By the way, if you're enjoying the show, please press the like button. Please also donate. No one's bought me a coffee. I checked my buy me a coffee account. One coffee I've had, and tomorrow's the deadline day for the next week. One coffee. Am I only worth a £5? Come on. www.buymeacoffee.com, and most people buy 3 when they buy them, although this last week, maybe you're skint. I don't know. Is it middle of the month? That's the end of the month. You get paid. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Also, as well, you can give me a super chat or a super sticker or just a sticker on here, and you'll get mentioned during the show. I've invited some new people today. I hope you got the invitations. So thank you very much indeed. Celia Weller, she's one of my old listeners from when I was on traditional radio. She says, I so want NF, Nigel Farage, as Prime Minister. It's our only hope. Well, that's where I've come to, Celia. I can tell you loads of problems with Farage, and I don't think it'll be smooth sailing. But we cannot allow this Burke, Starmer, any longer in office. It's as if he wants to wreck our country. In fact, I think he hates our country. I think he hates our flag. He hates our culture, our tradition, our way of doing things. I don't think he's patriotic one iota. He disgusts me. And I'm sorry, I was going to give him a bit of room, really, when he got elected. But no. He's wrecking my country. And so you've got to speak out, haven't you? 13 likes. That's good. Let's have some more. Dark Angel. I watched his speech this afternoon. It was good. Yeah, Farage was. It was very good. I watched it on replay as well. Rick Medlock. I watched it, John. It was a top speech. No bluff. Straight to the point. No avoiding the difficult questions. I just hope we have a country left when Labour have gone. Rick Medlock on YouTube. That's a brilliant point. And the point is, Rick, he took questions, didn't he? And he answered them all. He didn't answer them with a load of words, a load of nonsense. He answered them. And they asked him about the costing for one thing. And he said, I don't know that yet. I'll have to come back to you. We're working on it. That's what we want, isn't it, Rick? We want some honesty. Just some bait. And we all know they're going to lie about certain things or not mention certain things. But predominantly, let's just have a bit more honesty in politics. And Farage, well, you know what you're going to get with him, don't you? He does what it says on the can. You wouldn't know what Starmer does. You wouldn't buy a can of Starmer, would you? Imagine. I'm getting stomachache just thinking about it. Mark Kent says, you definitely deserve it, John. I deserve what, Mark? Thank you very much. I would like you to have a slot on one of the talk shows, John, would you? Dark Angel. So would I. So would I. Oh, that's what Mark's talking about. He's saying absolutely dark. He's agreeing. He's got a fantastic CV. Well, I kind of got a fantastic CV. So it's going, ooh, build the audience, local radio, national radio, Sun column, boom, called somebody a Nazi, sacked. End of. Blackballed. Anyway, that's me. That's life. Hey, never mind. Let's take some more views, please. What do you think about this cap on people having children, taking that away? I think that's a brilliant idea. I think you've got to be careful so that people don't take advantage, but I don't think people just have kids to have the benefit, do they? No, they don't. Come on, let's be grown-ups. Jackie Ward, spineless Starmer will never accept Farage's challenge to go into a working men's club. He'd get slaughtered. He certainly would. Can you imagine him? Can you imagine him in a working men's club? No. But wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it be like gladiatorial? Wouldn't it be all your fantasies in one go? Dark Angel, the Labour MPs are bending the knee to their globalist leader without a doubt. And one of them would be, and a doubt, not one of them would go against him, even if they don't like his policies. That's a good point, actually. I left a quote on my phone here, responding to Farage's speech, right? This Labour MP, where were we? Oh, I've got rid of it now. Anyway, I've lost her now. But it was Rachel Reeves' sister, the Chancellor's sister. Well, I wouldn't take a word that Rachel Thieves said to be true or honest, right? So why would I listen to the monkey, her sister? I wouldn't. They're lost. Then there's the Miliband clowns, brothers, whatever they are, yeah? I just don't know how these people get into power. And that's why when he says about scrapping net zero, that's going to be another big vote winner. And Starmer is a globalist. You're right, Dark Angel. He wants to be the boss of the EU. It's obvious. And he wants you and me to pay for it as he wrecks our bloody country. Right. Oh, I'm getting a bit carried away here. Evening, John. Just watched the Nigel speech. It was very good. The journalists were disappointing, though. They just appear to come from one angle. It's not balanced, and they're not in line with the public. You're so right. You're so right. I'll give you an example of this. You see, this kind of collective thought police thinking. It's everywhere. When that happened last night, the attack, this guy, right, whatever his reason is, I wrote up a tweet saying terrorism. Starmer sort it. I've had people trying to twist that overnight, and I haven't really answered them. Twist it over. I did take the video down. One of you people said, John, look, I think you should take that video down now. I had an extract of the video. We've all seen it now anyway, but so I took it down. So I thought that was good taste to get rid of that. But some people are saying you shouldn't call it terrorism. Why not? Because it's not terrorism. Terrorism is defined as a political... I don't care. If somebody starts driving on the pavement, knocking people over, that's terror. That's terrorism. Whatever his effing motive is, you clowns, you woke fools. But they do this because they want to silence you. They don't want you to speak out. And it's like there's loads of lefties today are saying, oh, the right wing, they're so fed up because it's a white person. And they project all this stuff that they obviously feel. But I don't feel. I wasn't disappointed it was a white person. I'm more disappointed that people have nearly been killed and many children have been injured. That's what I'm disappointed at. I'm not interested really in the colour of the skin or the religion. And thank God it's not another, looks like it's not another Ali snack bar attack. But I don't think you can say to people, coming to an assumption, some people, oh, it must be another atrocity by a certain group, because that's what's been happening recently. That's not prejudice. That's just experience. I don't say it myself, but I'm not going to be silenced by these fools, these clowns, who basically want to deny free speech. We've got to have it in the open. If Starmer hadn't hidden the fact that he knew who Axel Ruda-Cubana was, the man who slaughtered 3 little girls in Southport, if he hadn't hidden that, there wouldn't have been as many riots. Delicious irony today that Tommy Robinson was freed. We now need Lucy Connolly out. But this man is responsible for sending people to prison. Some of them deserve to go. If you want to burn down a hotel with immigrants in, that's a disgrace. Of course it is. But Lucy Connolly realised she'd gone over the top. 3 hours later, she deleted it. It's nonsense. But it's because he wants to oppress. He wants to suppress your freedom of speech. And Farage, whether you like him or not, he believes in freedom of speech. And that's another reason why I think he'll be the next Prime Minister. Even Diane Abbott spoke out against him. Never thought I'd see her go against her own party. Oh, I don't know, Dark Angel. She does it quite often. Farage has to attract the middle ground from the left and the right. So he's so on point about how to deliver a speech and get his point over, says Rick on YouTube. You are correct, mate. Where are we now? He also says Starmer won't do that. He's too frightened to be in front of working people. You are absolutely right. Now, Debbie Burgess, she's making a good point. I'd pay to see Nigel versus Starmer. Laugh out loud. So would I. But it would be unfair, wouldn't it? It'd be like one of the Rocky films where he hasn't got a chance. You know what I mean? Only thing is, there'd never be a sequel where he came back, would there? There'd never be a sequel where he came back. He is useless. How did he get into power? How did he get into power? Debbie goes on to say, Dark Angel, that's the woman who's just been commenting a minute ago, Nigel would eat him for breakfast. I think so, yeah. I think so. I think that people don't like Farage because they just don't like honesty, says Nick Kent. Well, Nick, I think you're partly right there. But it's not people. It's the mainstream, lamestream media and the press. Emily Maitlis, I used to work with her at BBC London. She's a nice woman, right? And she's very intelligent. She can speak about 15 languages. She's got the brain of 15 universes as well. But she's so prejudiced against Farage. She spits out his name. Just like that other woman, Sarah Smith. John Smith, right, who's her dad, or was her dad, he died. He was probably the greatest Labour Prime Minister we never had because he had a heart attack, didn't he? So I've got nothing against her apart from she hates Trump. But these people are trying to control the whole agenda. I don't mind them having that opinion. But let's hear other people's opinions. Am I right or am I wrong? Right, here we are. Imagine thinking that the elite city boy... Oh, here, Ronson's going to have a go. Good stuff. On YouTube, he says, imagine thinking that elite city boy millionaire Nigel Farage is actually in this for you. Ha, 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 ha. Careful, mate. Up there on your soapbox, you might fall off and break your neck, you superior prat. Imagine you not being superior and just listening to other views. You don't think Nigel Farage has worked to get to where he is? You don't think he's the only politician who set out with one aim and fulfilled it? He got out of the EU. What about the terrible tragedies he's had? What about the aircraft? I interviewed him on the day that he had his aircraft accident. I was waiting to interview him. It was when I was doing Sun Talk for the Sun newspaper, and he didn't turn up. He was late. And then his bloke who was in charge of him, who's now a talk jock as well, nice guy, I can't have forgotten his name. He'll come back. Anyway, he called up and said, oh, sorry, Gaunty, we've had a plane crash. I said, Farage, that's the best excuse ever. Tell him to get his arse in here. But obviously he was injured. But my point is, he is a man of the people. And this idea that somebody's a millionaire and therefore I've got to hate them, that's your working class chip, mate. If you are working class, you should forget it. I'd love to be a millionaire. I've been wealthy and I've been, like I am at the moment, skint with nobody buying me a coffee. Going to have to start selling the big issue soon. I'll tell you what's best. It's having money. Why attack somebody? Why attack somebody for them having money? John, you need to trust the plan. Starmer is a red Tory. Is he really? I don't know what he is. He's a prat. That's what I think, my friend. Ronson, oh, here we go. Ronson, I'm going to just write. I'll read a couple of your things for balance, but then I'm going to just ignore you because you are another one of these sixth formers, right? You need your trousers pulled down and your arse spanked, but you'd probably enjoy it. Ronson says he was on the EU gravy train for 20 years and you still think he's in this for you. Well, he was an MEP. Well, was Neil Kinnock on the gravy train then and his whole family? And now Kinnock's son, of course, is in the cabinet. What's the point you're making, sixth former? Do you just read it on the front of your socialist worker and then think that, you know, I'm going to regurgitate this? And that nonsense like that, which isn't even thought through, you think that you'll be come over as intelligent. Anyway, Gaz Capricorn says, I hope Angela Golden Rayner takes over from Starmer. That, without a doubt, would defo see the demolition of the Red Wall or reform of the party I've been waiting for since Maggie in the 80s. I think you make a very good point, my friend. A very, very good point. And I think that's where a lot of people are coming from. And that's why the polls are showing that. And Starmer doesn't know how to attack that. I think he still thinks the opposition to him are the Conservatives. Well, they're finished. Farage said this today. They're finished. They've gone. It's over. Pack up. Sell off the premises. Get rid of the assets. And the asses in it. They've blown it off themselves. Because don't ever interpret me slagging off Starmer that I'm a Tory. No way. No way. I vote for who I think's the best at the moment, right? I was with Tony Blair the first election. I voted for Jeremy Corbyn in one election. I wouldn't vote for Starmer. And I voted Green last general election. Because when I go bodyboarding at Croyd Bay, I don't want to be next to turds in the water. Forgive my language. That's nice. Debbie Burgess on YouTube says, grow up, Ronson. Grow up. He should have been put down at birth. Sorry, that's a bit sick. Right, where are we now? Here we are. Tell Ben Avram recently, ? It's been happening for 4 decades on YouTube. Don't know what you're on about, mate. Tell me in a minute. Ronson, you can stop writing. He's like writing an essay. Stop now. Stop now. Oh, let's read your last one. When you realise Nigel's laughing at you, you'll scream betrayal again. Ronson, when you learn to shave, I'll take your opinion seriously, right? But until then, pipe down now, get on with your homework and leave politics to the big boys. Okay? Okay? What has this country come to when you can't even enjoy a parade? What parade's that? What are you on about? But thank you very much for your comments, Ronnie Hurst. All right. So let's have your views on this. Do you believe that a precedent has been set in Liverpool? The fact that they named, they didn't name, but they described the age, the ethnicity, the fact that the person was white, etc., etc. Do you think that means that from now on, we won't have accusations of two-tier policing and justice? Do you think now that the next time someone is caught carrying out a mass casualty attack, whether it's for some religious motive or whether it's whatever, will they tell us straight away the suspect is black, 33 years old, and he was shouting something like Ali Snack Bar, right? Will they? Because if that doesn't happen now, after what's happened in Liverpool this weekend, I think it's going to get even trickier for Starmer. What do you think? So, I still want to hear from you tonight about, is Farage right? A lot of you won't have seen the speech yet. You'll probably see it on the 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock news today. So we can always come back to this tomorrow if necessary. Have you been persuaded to vote for Reform UK and Nigel Farage? Has he already won the next election? Because that's what I'm saying in my title. I'll say he's won. We may as well scrap all the political programmes and the pontificating about it. Farage is going to be the next Prime Minister. The only question is when. And I think it needs to be sooner rather than later. I really do, because there's no ideas on the Conservative benches. Starmer's clearly only got ideas that are fit for people like Ronson, the little sixth former who's been getting in touch. It doesn't appeal to the main mass of the UK population. So your views on this, and then we'll finish up for the night. I just think we're in a really bad situation. I think we've got all our values wrong. Those that who pay, well, I used to pay in the most, seem to get the least. And, I can't believe we've cut things like winter fuel, but we've given money straight away to people who've just got out of a boat at Dover. I mean, call me old-fashioned. You're old-fashioned. But that just seems a bit wrong. That just seems not to be right. And net zero, listen, I want to save the planet, but we're not ready for it. And why are we going faster than any other country, whether it's China, India, Pakistan, Germany? Why? Why aren't we digging up the coal? Why aren't we drill, baby, drill? Why aren't we fracking? Why aren't we fracking? Why not? And what about the North Sea? Let's get some more oil out of that. But of course, introduce wind. Of course, introduce nuclear. We should have done nuclear better 20 odd years ago. But we can't just suddenly go like Ed Miliband. That's it. We're turning off the generators. We will end up like Spain, plunged into darkness. Of course, we've got to get rid of the asylum hotels. But we're only going to do that with joined up thinking, aren't we? And you've got to be cruel to be kind. And I'm sorry, I'm fed up. I mean, they haven't come today probably because it's been raining a bit. But it's just mad, isn't it? It's just mad. And I feel for them. But we can't let every Tom, Dick and Harry in, can we? And the 2-child cap, I don't understand why that's mostly, we need more babies. Yeah, we should be incentivizing people to get their rocks off, so to speak. And diversity, it's becoming, as I get older, it's becoming much more of a bugbear of mine. That why, after putting all your money in all your life, doing the right things, bringing your kids up correctly, educating them correctly, do you get nothing? You're treated as if you're a fat racist. I just find it bizarre. I find it bizarre that diversity doesn't include white, older men. What have we done that's so wrong? I know we were the patriarchy, but come on, give us a flipping break. So that's diversity. And we don't need all these diversity officers. We know what it is now, don't we? And the winter fuel. How could a socialist government let pensioners freeze? How could a socialist government do that? And the Prat has said he's going to restore it, but he hasn't said how or when. Meanwhile, in comes Nigel Farage. As soon as I'm in power, I'm going to give it to every pensioner. We're not going to have it means tested. And I'm going to fund it by getting rid of all this diversity nonsense and net zero targets. Oh, are you, Nigel? Oh, shit. So then he turns around to one of his young advisors who haven't even started to shave yet. In fact, Ronson, you could become one. You've got all the right credentials. Still got a sixth form attitude and not learned how to shave yet. But anyway, he's come back, Ronson. Oh, did the adult disagree with the echo chamber? Bless. Debbie Burgess, though, she's got the perfect answer. Have a look at this. Ronson, Mum is shouting, it's nappy change time and then bedtime. You're nasty, you are, Debbie, but you're funny. That was on YouTube. It's a sign of the times when we have to think twice before posting anything. Yes. It's a sign of a censored society. So before you post anything on social media and the woke call us out for saying anything they don't like, free speech is all but gone. Hopefully Starmer will be soon as well. It's a very good point you're making, because you know the worst form of censorship? It's called self-censorship. When you think, I can't write that, right? But it's what you want to write. Dark Angels just saying, Debbie, loads of smiles and claps. Thank you for that. Ronnie Hurst says Starmer has burnt his bridges. I don't think he had many to burn, did he? You can only be a Labour MP if you speak in a monotone voice, it seems, says Celia. Thank you. That's a brilliant one. I love the left is having a meltdown, says Debbie Burgess on YouTube. By the way, we've got 25 likes. Thank you very much indeed. Surely one of those likes would like to buy me a coffee now, or a few coffees, but just one will do. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Thank you very much indeed. Peter Stewart, good old listener. I've just finished a bike ride with my friend. Over coffee, she told me that she'd never heard of alternative media, and there lies part of the problem. You're right, but alternative media is gathering strength all the time, Peter, all the time. Because, I'll go and watch the BBC later, the news, and it would just be like living in a parallel universe. I remember this when I was on talk radio, when I used to come back from London, and I'd be listening to my little radio. In those days, it was a little radio thing in the earplugs, and it was Radio 5 Dead. That's why I started calling it Radio 5 Dead. They inhabited a totally different planet to me. They were talking about the same subjects, but it was just like a different world. And that different world has just got bigger and bigger. And also they've because of diversity and DEI and all that nonsense, they've kind of taken over the agenda. And if you dare say anything that's popular, you're a populist. And a populist, that's one step away from being a fascist. I think that's how the logic works. Crazy. Gavin Cardy says, I voted Blair just the once. I never voted Labour again, though. Thank you very much indeed. Elsis, like to see a one-on-one, says Mark. Are you talking between the idiots? Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? Nigel Farage versus Starmer. Yeah. Well, we could do like Frankie Goes to Hollywood, have them both in a wrestling ring. And remember that? That was it. When two tribes go to war, brilliant. The Lib Dems smashed the blue wall, though. Lib Dem coalition will form the next government. A Labour and a Lib Dem coalition will form the next government. I'll give you a fiver. They won't, mate, but thank you very much indeed. Ronson, now he's going on the personal attack. I remember when John Gaunt could get work. Laugh out loud. I remember when John Gaunt set up his own radio station and where he's now trying to get back again. I remember John Gaunt when he nearly died, Ronson. One day it will happen to you. I hope you've got lots of friends to help you. He wanted everyone to call him Gaunty, but nobody ever did. Fair enough. Whatever. Because the police don't want to riot on the streets of Liverpool, that's why they told us he was white. Maybe. I cannot help thinking that most of these leftists are members of some sort of religion, says Mark on YouTube. Yes, Mark, I agree with you. It's kind of like they're a cult. I certainly think a lot of them are cult. Anyway, I've got to finish in a minute. I'm cooking sweet and sour tonight. Will they tell us the ethnicities quickly if they are Muslim? Would that spark a riot? Well, you don't want it to spark a riot, because I think with Southport, if Starmer had come out and said, it's not a Muslim, it's not a new arrival, and it's not this, and it's not that, instead of pretending it was a choir boy from Wales, most people would have gone, right, at least we know, and, you've got them, right, good, let's find out more later, yeah? He doesn't trust us. Starmer's a typical uber liberal. That's why he would get slaughtered in a working men's club. He doesn't like us. Get it in your heads. He doesn't like us. He doesn't trust us. However, he will send your sons to Ukraine to die fighting the Russians, because you do know his house got burnt down by the Russians, don't you? It's the Russians what did it. I just laughed my duck off this weekend when they started blaming the Russians. Just a joke. I think we've got to look a bit closer to home, haven't we? There's enough people in this country that hate your Starmer. You don't have to bring Putin into the agreement. By the way, I don't agree with any attacks on him. But what a load. It would just... What's that smell? Is it a burning front door? No, it's bullshit. When Starmer loses the next election, says Graham Hatton, he's planning a decorating company. Hang on, where's this going? A decorating company with Angela Rayner called Bodgett and Scarpa. They F up your home and leave you bankrupt. I like that. The local from Bobby from Liverpool does not put trust in the police. I don't understand that one, but thank you for it. ASR saying bring back the BNP. No, we don't need those knuckle dragging idiots. Where are we? I'm going to have to stop. I really am. We want our country back now and put the British people first and send all the migrants back home. Yeah, the ones we don't need, get rid of them. I'm with you. I've been persuaded by Reform UK. Plus, I've got a 50 quid bet that Nigel will be PM. That's a good bet. How long ago did you put that on? That's a very good idea. I think Mr. Farage knows how to play the working class. So I do believe he'll be the next PM. Yeah, well, that's really where I'm coming from. Politics has never been try the last 40 years. I don't know what that means. Right, last one, I think. This last one. Chopper. Championing proportional representation alone could be enough to win the next election. Forget the left-right divide. The two-party system has to go as it benefits no one apart from politicians. I agree with you, my friend. Oh, Simeon's back. Do you remember Simeon last week? He's back, our little lefty. He's making quite a good point, though, this one. So well done, Simeon. Thank you. On YouTube. He says, with free school meals and childcare. Oh, no, they voted against that. Yeah, Reform did, didn't they? They didn't like the Breakfast Club idea. Well, might upset you now, Simeon. I don't either. I really don't like it either. I think parents should feed their kids. And if they're not getting fed, then we need to look at that from a different angle. I think just giving the parents more money or saying, no, don't worry about it. We'll feed them when they get to school. I don't think that does anything. Finally, Starmer and his cronies in his cabinet, none of them have run a company. What hope have we got of them ever running a country? I think that's a fair point. I think he made that point himself today, didn't he? Farage. I can't believe how many people here trying to still comment. I'm meant to be finished. I've got me sweet and sour. Labour and the Conservatives have never been weaker. This is a good comment from CBR99. They've never been weaker. This will be the last chance of Reform to win under the Farage leadership before sectarian voting starts to make an impact in the future. What do you mean make an impact? It's already made one, isn't it? That's why they've made certain decisions. That's why we haven't got the rape gangs in court, isn't it? That's why we're not getting a full public inquiry, because they're worried about upsetting certain groups. And that's also why he wants to bring the voting age down to 16. It's just mad. So as I say, I think you've got to do it now. I'm going to vote for Nigel Farage. I don't normally tell people who I'm voting for why, but I'm doing it. I've got to get my country back. I want to live in a place where I can say something. I want to live in a place also where you can make a joke. You know, where you can make a rude joke. You can make a gallows humor joke. You can make a joke that is a bit off colour. I don't mean out and out racist, but sometimes she's a bit, using stock characters and, exaggeration. I don't want to live in a country which is humorless. I don't want to live in Keir Starmer's world. Imagine what a bore. I mean, that's why all these rumours I don't fundamentally believe on. I don't believe he could ever be exciting at anything. You know what I'm talking about. So in a way, it just doesn't add up. He's boring. Chopper says, great show. Thanks, Gaunty. Oh, don't call me Gaunty, because the little idiot earlier said I've never ever calls me that. Watchers and comments are picking up. Yeah, they are. Takes small acorns to grow into big oaks, but it takes a long bloody time. I keep telling my wife this. She says, are you going to carry on doing these podcasts? Can't you get a proper job? Well, the answer to the second part of a statement or bollocking is no, I can't. And the answer to the first one is yes, I'm going to carry on for as long as I can. But I'm being subsidised by it. You know what that feels like as for a man? Feels bad. So if you can help me out, send me a fiver on buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or do one of these things on YouTube. Dark Angel is finishing off by saying, enjoy your tea, John. Well, I will when I've cooked it. And Celia, one of my oldest listeners, I don't mean she's old, I mean she's a long-term listener. She says, Gaunty, Gaunty, Gaunty. Laugh out loud. Thank you, Celia, for your humour. You have been missed. Right, that's it. We're done. I will see you tomorrow night at 6:30. If you want to get in touch with me before then, just get in touch with me via the chat here on YouTube. That's the best likes we've had in a live broadcast ever, 28. Thank you very much. Don't forget, you can always listen to them again later on the audio podcast. We're on every single platform. Also, YouTube, I've got them there as well. And the best way to keep in touch and know what I'm up to is by subscribing to YouTube. It's completely free. You just go to John Gaunt TV and press the little thing down here. You might be able to do it now. There's a little subscribe button or a bell. Press that, and then you'll be subscribed. Doesn't cost anything. It just means every time I go to do a broadcast, you get a note saying Gaunty. See, they call me Gaunty. Gaunty's going live. Right, I've enjoyed it. Hope you have. And I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. Ronnie Hurst says, keep on, Gaunty. I like your shows. Thank you. See you, John, says Thistle. Thank you. Enjoy your evening, buddy. Yeah. Do you know what I did yet? I didn't tell you this. Went out yesterday. Gareth, my mate, he used to be an Olympic swimmer. Right? He went and lived in Australia. He's been in Australia for 20 odd years, but he comes back now and again. And then they said, oh, let's go for a drink with Gareth yesterday. And I made the schoolboy error. Okay, I'll meet you in 4:00, I think we met. Didn't have any tea, so I thought it'd be 2 pints. He's basically an Australian now, right? They don't understand single figures and beer or wine. I got home, legless. Went straight to bed, didn't eat, and then I woke up today and I feel dreadful. I'm feeling a bit better now. Got to tell you, but oh man, alive. The best drink is always the unexpected drink, and it was an unexpected drink, but you don't need to have loads. Anyway, that's me finished. Oh my God, laugh out loud. You're drunk. I'm not drunk now, you clown. I'm desperate for some more water. That's what I am. Right, see you soon. All the best. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.